Most people never become who they really are. They spend their lives performing a role written by society, chasing approval, following rules, and suppressing their real desires. And yet, despite all the effort, they still feel empty. Nietzsche uncovered this trap more than 140 years ago. He saw that conformity is not just limiting, it's soul-killing, and he revealed a radical path forward. In this video, you'll discover 7 powerful principles from Nietzsche's philosophy that will show you how to break free and finally become yourself. The last one is the most dangerous, and most people aren't ready to face it. I've spent years studying Nietzsche's writings, and what shocked me most is how accurately he predicted today's identity crisis. He saw the collapse of old morality, and he warned that without a new path, we'd fall into nihilism, a world where nothing feels meaningful. But Nietzsche didn't stop at warning us. He laid out a series of principles for those bold enough to rise above conformity. In this video, I'll reveal why you feel trapped, Nietzsche's exact solutions, and how you can apply them today. And the first rule will flip everything you thought you knew about morality upside down. If you follow the herd, you'll always stay invisible. The crowd makes you safe, but it also makes you weak. And Nietzsche's first challenge is simple. Stop thinking like everyone else. He called this herd morality. It's the mindset where values are borrowed, not created. You're told what's good, what's bad, what's acceptable, and you follow without question. It feels comfortable, but it kills your individuality. Think of it like a flock of sheep. Each sheep feels protected in the group, but the truth is, none of them are leading their own life. They're all being led to the same destination. That's what Nietzsche saw in society. Millions of people following borrowed values, never discovering their own. Look at social media today. You're told what to desire, how to dress, even what opinions are acceptable. If you step out of line, the herd attacks. And so most people stay silent, play along, and hide their true selves. Nietzsche's warning, if you live only by herd morality, you'll never know who you really are. Because your values won't be yours, they'll be hand-me-downs from the crowd. The first step to becoming yourself is to ask, where did this belief come from? If the answer is, everyone else believes it, then it's not truly yours. And until you break free, you'll always live as just another face in the herd. Power isn't about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself. That's what Nietzsche meant by the will to power, the deep drive in every human being to grow stronger, to rise above limitations. Think of a tree in a storm. The winds batter it from every direction, but the tree doesn't collapse. Its roots dig deeper, its trunk grows thicker, and with each storm, it becomes unshakable. Nietzsche believed that's how true power works, not by dominating people, but by strengthening your inner self. The stronger you are inside, the less the outside world can shake you. Look at modern life. Rejection, failure, humiliation. Most people crumble under these pressures, but Nietzsche saw them as fuel, tests that force you to grow stronger. The will to power is your inner engine. When you embrace it, rejection stops being a threat, and obstacles become stepping stones. The question is, will you let the storm break you, or will you let it forge you? What if suffering isn't your enemy, but your greatest teacher? Nietzsche called this idea Amor Fati, the love of fate. It means saying yes to everything life gives you, even the pain. The fire doesn't destroy the metal, it hardens it into steel. That's what suffering does to you when you embrace it. Nietzsche rejected the idea that life's goal is to avoid pain. To him, suffering was unavoidable. The real question wasn't, how do I escape it? It was, how do I use it? Think about your own setbacks, heartbreak, career failure, betrayal. Most people see these as reasons to quit, but if you practice Amor Fati, every setback becomes training, every wound becomes wisdom. Nietzsche's challenge is clear. Don't just endure suffering, choose it, because once you stop running from pain and start embracing it, you unlock the ability to turn it into strength. Would you want to live this moment again and again for eternity? That's the thought experiment Nietzsche called the eternal return. It's not about whether the universe actually repeats, but about how you would live if it did. Imagine time as a looping clock. Every choice you make, every action you take, comes back around forever. If you would dread repeating your life endlessly, then something needs to change. This idea isn't meant to depress you, it's meant to sharpen you, to force you to live only the life you'd be proud to repeat. Think about your daily choices, the job you tolerate, the relationships you settle for, the habits that drain you. Would you really want to replay those for eternity? If the answer is no, Nietzsche's challenge is simple. Live differently now. The eternal return strips away illusions. It forces you to ask, am I living a life worth repeating? If not, it's time to change the script. The highest goal isn't happiness, it's transformation. That's why Nietzsche introduced the idea of the Übermensch, often translated as the Overman or Superman. But forget the comic book version. This wasn't about superpowers, it was about self-creation. It burns, it dies, and then it recreates itself, more powerful than before. That's the image of the Übermensch, the one who dares to create new values instead of living by inherited ones. Nietzsche believed most morality was built to keep people small, praising obedience, humility, weakness. The Übermensch throws that script away and writes his own. Look at today's world. You're handed scripts everywhere, how to act, what success means, even what happiness should look like. But Nietzsche's challenge is radical. Stop borrowing, start creating. The Übermensch isn't a final destination, it's an ongoing project. It's you rewriting your life in your own words until nothing about you is secondhand. Morality is not given, it's created. Nietzsche believed that the labels of good and evil were inventions of society, not eternal truths. And if you never question them, you'll live by rules that were never yours to begin with. Think of life as a chessboard. Most people play by rules someone else designed, but Nietzsche's challenge was radical. Stop playing by the old rules and start writing your own. In his book Beyond Good and Evil, he argued that morality built on obedience keeps people weak. Real strength comes when you create values that reflect your own nature. Look at modern life, careers, relationships, even politics. How often do people do what's acceptable rather than what's true to them? The herd tells you what's right, but Nietzsche asks, right for whom? Your task is to break the illusion. Instead of blindly accepting morality, define it for yourself. Because once you do, you stop being a pawn and become the one setting the board. Every time you shed an old self, you step closer to your true one. Nietzsche called this self-overcoming, the process of destroying weaker versions of yourself to create stronger ones. Picture a snake shedding its skin. It leaves behind what no longer fits, so it can keep growing. That's how Nietzsche saw human life, a constant cycle of death and rebirth inside yourself. Most people cling to outdated identities, the safe job, the failed relationship, the old belief system. But clinging is death in slow motion. Growth demands sacrifice. Nietzsche's challenge? Kill the parts of you that no longer serve you, your old fears, your inherited beliefs, your outdated versions. This process is painful, but it's also the only path to becoming who you really are. The moment you stop transforming, you stop living. Here's the hardest truth Nietzsche left us with. Becoming who you really are means killing the version of yourself that society built. Not once, but over and over again. Every rebirth is painful. Every transformation costs something. But that's how greatness is born. This is the essence of self-overcoming. It's why Nietzsche said, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. If that idea just hit you, if it shook something inside you, this is the moment to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because the insights you've heard today are only the beginning. What comes next in Nietzsche's philosophy is even more radical. At the start, I said most people never become who they really are. They live someone else's script. So what's Nietzsche's answer? Stop imitating, stop following, start creating. His solution wasn't to avoid suffering, but to transform it into strength. Not to borrow values, but to invent them. Not to wait for meaning, but to build it. And here's the bonus insight. When you do this, when you become the author of your own life, the world loses its power to define you. That's the freedom Nietzsche wanted for you. Becoming yourself is the hardest task, but it's also the only one worth living for. So I'll leave you with one question. Are you ready to become who you really are? Hit subscribe and join this journey, because philosophy is not just ideas, it's a way of life.